Hi, I'm here today to tell you about a new feature. This time we're talking about access gate expiry. Um, so we've always been able to set access gates onto groups, communities and channels, and that controls the criteria that a user has to meet in order to join that group, community or channel. The one weakness with this, of course, is that it only evaluates whether they meet your criteria at the point where they join. And that means once they're in for good. And this isn't always what you want. So we've added this new ability to be able to specify an interval on which your access gates will be reevaluated. So I'm just going to go through that and show you how that works. This involves me working in my local environment and kind of pretending to be two users at once, so hopefully that won't be too confusing. So the dark mode screen I've got here is going to be representative of the owner who is setting up this community, and then I'll have a light mode screen to show the user who wants to join this community. Hopefully that will help us keep straight which pretend user I'm pretending to be. So assuming I have this community here, I would like to control access to it. So I can set access gates as we know. Let's say I'm going to add a payment gate of 0.1 ICP. And we see you've now got this new option here, access gate evaluation interval. It's called an evaluation interval because it's not exactly an expiry. It just means that we want periodically to ensure that the members of the community still meet the access criteria. So I'm going to tick that box, and then I get to specify what time period I want to use to reevaluate. So for the case of a payment gate here, I might want to turn this into a kind of subscription model. So I would say you get 3 months of access for 0.1 ICP, and after that 3 months has elapsed, the gate will be reevaluated and you'll have to make another payment. For this development scenario, I'm going to set an extremely short expiry. Obviously you wouldn't do this. Indeed, you couldn't do this on the live version. I've just got a special development version where we can set the expiry in minutes, just so we don't have to wait here for ages and see what happens when it expires. So that's all I have to do. I could do this with composite gates as well, but the reevaluation will apply to the whole set of gates, even if we have multiple combined gates. So with that set, I get this extra little icon here on the access gate summary, which tells me the evaluation interval. Save that. You can see it in the details. I also see this same pop up, and I see this message here saying that the access gate will be reevaluated every 1 minute in this case. See, that's a ridiculously short time period, but for the sake of illustration. So let's go over to my light mode user who wishes to join this community. In the Community Explorer, you can see that this indicator is also here on the community card within the Explorer. So I click on it. In the left here, where I would see which access gates apply, I can still click on that and see the access gate, but I get this extra information that the gate's going to be reevaluated on a schedule. So if I'm happy with that and I still want to join, I press join. Again, I'm told that this is going to be reevaluated on a schedule. This is obviously it's important to let the user know this, especially if there's a payment involved. So I approve the payment just like normal, and then I'm in. So next we want to see what happens when the user lapses. So generally speaking, what's going to happen now is that the gate is going to be reevaluated at the end of that interval. What that does really depends on what kind of gate it is. Some gates we can just tell automatically whether the user still meets the requirements. For example, if it were a diamond membership gate, then the system can just check, is the user still a diamond member or not? But there are other gates where user interaction is required. For example, a payment gate. The backend isn't going to just automatically charge them. They would have to approve this payment. So the backend can't reevaluate that kind of gate itself. So it's going to put the user into this new special membership state called a lapsed state. So when a user is in a lapsed state, they will not be able to interact with the community or group or channel. It's kind of like they're not a member anymore, although they still appear in the members list, but they'll appear with this special lapsed status. And when they are, we just see there on the screen, my minute has elapsed, my membership has now lapsed. So I'm now blocked from interaction with this community. We look at this from the perspective of the community owner. Look at the members. We see that we have this new lapsed section over here. So I can see that this user is still a member in some sense, but he's lapsed. So to recover from this lapsed state is very similar to the initial joining process. Instead of joining, you're rejoining, and that just involves re-establishing that you still meet the criteria. So you see exactly the same thing that you would have seen when you initially joined. So basically you're being asked to pay again. So approve. And then I'm back in the community. So payments is one good application for this. It allows a content creator to sort of establish a subscription model for their content, which is good. It's good for things like our airdrop system. The reason we have separate channels for individual months is because we couldn't do this before. So we wanted to make sure that with each month everyone was still a diamond member. We could have used an expiring access gate instead of having separate channels now with this new feature. And another application is verifiable credentials, so things like proof of humanity, or a new upcoming credential, which is a verified employee credential. You know, you may wish to have a private community representing your organization, and you want to be sure that every member of your community is a genuine employee of your company. But not only that, you want to make sure that that's checked regularly, so that you know, if someone leaves, then there's a sort of safety net. They're going to get, their membership's going to lapse. So it's a small feature. It's fairly somewhat niche, but I think for those people that want this and need it, it's going to be really useful. So that's it. Cheers. Bye-bye.